And I am a graduate of Illiana Christian High School. I am also a daughter of an Illiana graduate and a parent of 3, almost 4 Illiana graduates. For those of you who don't know me, I'm married to Bill. Everybody knows Bill because he's 6'8". Bill and I have a hard time like going incognito anywhere. The average height, I think, in our family is 6'3", 6'4", I don't know. Anyway, it's a really good honor for me to be here. So our kids are Allison. She graduated in 2010, and she's currently a social worker downtown. Joel is a graduate of 2011. He is currently an actuary in Iowa. Jana graduated in 2014 and is a sophomore at Calvin College. And Sam is still in high school. He's a junior, still gracing the halls of Illiana with his beautiful smile. Our family's history with Illiana goes back to almost the time that Illiana began. My dad is a 1951 graduate of Illiana. And although I've heard his stories many times before, I did sit down with him a few weeks ago to refresh my memory. When recalling the details of his time at Illiana, though, he was very adamant that I not mention his name. I don't know why, but Marv began as a freshman at Illiana. He began as a freshman at Illiana when they were still holding classes in the old Army barracks and the Sweetwoods in Thornton, which is just directly west of Illiana. He had a lot of great stories, which I don't really have time for here, but if you see him, be sure to ask him about his old days at Illiana. Just don't tell him who sent you. During his freshman year, Illiana moved from the barracks to the current location on Indiana Avenue. My dad's Illiana career almost didn't happen though. He was one of 7 children, and his dad passed away when he was 16. So he had to pay for his tuition himself, which back then was $150 per year. But as a farmer helper, he worked at Young Farms, which was just west of Illiana, for 17.5 cents an hour, which he's told us many times. So he was able to go to Illiana. But his Illiana career almost ended early, just a week into his junior year. My dad had a hearing problem, which he wasn't aware of since childhood, so he couldn't really hear the teachers, and so he really struggled in school. He quit school, went to work, and the janitor at Illiana at the time was Pete Cook, came to where my dad was working, told him he had to go back to school, and practically dragged him back. This story, for me, is an early example of what I believe makes Illiana such a special place. My dad went on to marry, and my parents had 5 children, all of whom attended Illiana. I have so many great memories at Illiana. They include playing on sports teams, class trip, many close friends made, and being in band, pep band, marching band, so I was really impressed with the jazz band. Mrs. Medica, if you're out there, I did try to encourage my kids to go into band. They just did not listen. I can still remember many of my teachers well, and my children were able to have some of them, my favorite teachers as well, but I'm not going to mention any names. I guess you can say I learned a lot. I was well prepared back then to attend college, but it was the life skills I learned while here which stuck with me. I learned how to think, how to process, and do it all with a Christian worldview. I also recall struggling, as many 15 and 16-year-old girls do, with my sense of self-worth. I remember one particular teacher recognizing my struggles and coming alongside me to encourage me, let me talk, and help me recognize I was worth so much to Jesus. This still has an impact on me today as I counsel those going through similar issues. Another example of what I believe makes Illiana such a special place. And on to today. Our children have so many more opportunities than Bill and I did when we were here. If you haven't been to a basketball game, you have got to go. The loud crowd is incredible. It's fascinating to watch high schoolers get so involved in a game. And then there's Praise Crowd, which we also didn't have, which has been a great experience for our kids. After basketball games, students are welcome to grab something to eat, which is always, a good way to get them there, and go to the chapel where they may hear a testimony and then participate in praise and worship. Where else can you go to a basketball game and then go and praise the Lord in the chapel? Awesome. Have you seen a play or a musical or seen the drama department in action? Fabulous. And dodgeball tournaments? Again, if you haven't attended, I really encourage you to do so. I think the dodgeball tournament was started to raise money for a fellow student, and since then they've raised lots of money for all kinds of good causes, which is a great opportunity for our children to learn about service. And speaking of service, one of our daughters was able to go on the mission trip to the Dominican Republic, during which she was blessed beyond measure. These are all opportunities which our children have loved. And I guess I better talk about the academics. Our oldest 3 children have all experienced the blessing of being able to attend college. All have done well, and we believe that is because of the excellent academics they have at Illiana. Some have taken advanced placement classes, which give them a college credit. One of our daughters thought her freshman English class was really boring because she had already learned it all in the English program at Illiana. Along with preparing them for college, they have been taught important life skills as well in shop, home ec, and consumer economic classes. Through all these academic opportunities, one thing stands out. Our children have been given, as both I and my dad were, a Christian worldview. At Illiana, you don't just learn facts, you learn truth with a capital T. You don't just learn what is taught, you are taught how to learn. And you learn to see every subject as part of God's creation and providence. All of the things I've just talked about are important to us as parents, and part of the reason we have sent our children to Illiana. However, coming back to the story of my dad and of myself, I have to say that one of the main reasons we send our children to Illiana is because we know the teachers care. I recall a comment made by one of our children a few years back. She was talking about one of her coaches, and she said, Mom, what I love about playing that sport is that I know my coach cares more about me as a person than how I play on the court. To me, this speaks volumes about the care our children receive here. In fact, as I was preparing this talk, I separately asked each one of my 4 kids what they liked best about attending Illiana. They all had pretty much the same response. They said that they really felt that the staff at Illiana cared about them personally and were interested in seeing them grow academically and spiritually. This played out both inside and outside the classroom. It included not only teachers and counselors, but also coaches, office staff, and yes, even the janitors. Even a few years after our oldest kids have graduated, I still have their teachers and coaches ask me how they are doing. As a student and a parent, I have gotten to know many of the people who work at Illiana in and out of the classroom. I can see by the way that they live that they have a love of God and a commitment to Christian education. I feel they also love their jobs and have a passion for the subjects that they teach and coach, whether it's English, German, Spanish, math, history, Bible, music, art, science, volleyball, basketball, and the list goes on. But the thing that makes me so thankful that I sent my children to Illiana is how much they love the kids. Every day that I have sent my children off to school, I have tried to say a prayer with them before they walk out the door. I am trusting God to take care of them throughout their day and guide them to make wise choices. But I feel that I am not just sending them to a building where they can sit in a class and hang out with their friends. I am entrusting them to a group of people who really care about them and want them to succeed academically and grow spiritually. For that reason, I give thanks to God for Illiana Christian High School. Thank you.